Hello everyone, welcome to our semantics reading course again. And today's topic is lexical relations, part 1. And I will share the second part next week with you. And as I said, if you have any question, you can write to my email address. Here you can see it. So let's start today's lesson. So today's topic is lexical relations, part 1. And today we have 5 different subtitles which we will analyze one by one. The first one is lexical fields, and then kinship, then hyponym, synonym, and antonym, prepared by Ayşenur, Zeynep, and Münire from evening group A. So let's go on with lexical fields and kinship. So the first part is lexical fields and kinship. So lexical field is the way of organizing related words into a language system which shows their relationship to one another, and thus each of the lexemes below belongs to one lexical field. So lexical set and lexeme, we will analyze them, but first I would like to show you the definition of lexical set. A lexical set is a group of words with the same topic, function or form. As in Turkish we call them kelime dizini. Like cat, dog, tortoise, goldfish, gerbil is a part of the topical lexical set pets, and quickly, happily, completely, dramatically, angrily is part of a syntactic lexical set adverbs. So here, the given example by your friends is like the set name is lexical set name is the sports, and the lexeme, I mean the subcategory, tennis, golf, badminton, and soccer. So here, the lexical set means the lexical category actually the category name of the words, and lexeme part means the items belongs to each lexical set. So we can define a lexeme by telling what set it belongs to and how it differs from other members of the same set. So sometimes there might be part-whole relationship between some lexical sets, and we call them in Turkish parça bütün ilişkisi. So here arm includes hand, and which includes finger and thumbs, as you see. So the set, second, minute, hour, day is also a part of a part-whole relationship actually. That is also hierarchical. And there might be also like some sequential like numbers, and cyclical like month and days or the seasons names. There might be like lexical sets, and they also have part-whole relationship, but they also have the property of being sequential, cyclical, or hierarchical, as shown here. So some sets, mostly small ones, form paradigm, like the words man, woman, boy, and girl, all denoting human, are interrelated in this way. So what is paradigm? Actually, I want to also add this information here. So in Turkish, as the linguistic term, paradigm means aynı söz zinciri içinde birbirinin yerini alabilecek olan ve zorunlu bir karşıtlık ilişkisi kuran ögelerin oluşturduğu bütün. So this is the meaning of paradigm, again söz dizini. And here you can see human is the semantic feature shared by all members of the set, and through which tiger, tree, and numerous other lexemes like table or door or TV, they are all excluded from this set in terms of the semantic feature of being human. So using square brackets to indicate such semantic features like male, female, and adult child are the components that differentiate the members of the set from one another. And this determination, I mean the categorizing by using these square brackets, has been called componential analysis. And the paradigm provides definitions like man has the definition of like adult, male, and human, and also analogies. Analogy means benzeşim, benzerlik in Turkish. So in other words, a paradigm shows that lexemes are systematically related to each other. So let's go on. The definitions can be made somewhat more sophisticated through binary features instead of like only male and female. And the labels can be plus male and minus male, or minus female and plus female. And instead of like adult and child only, we may have plus adult and minus adult, or minus child and plus child. Sex is a biological distinction and clearly binary. Age, however, is a continuum, like devam eden, and the distinctions we recognize are partly biological and partly social. So being social, they are arbitrary. So note that English has a lexeme adolescence, like which is minus adult and minus child, but there are no English term for male adolescence and female adolescence except boy and girl. So let's consider these words like stall, chair, bench, and sofa. So they have a common component like piece of furniture. They also share a component, furniture for sitting, all of them. And in terms of having a back, so all chairs have a back. Stalls do not have a back, as you see here. Tabure. A sofa must have a back. A bench may or may not have a back. So a better candidate for a differentiating feature is having upholstery. Like a sofa must be plus upholstery and a bench is minus upholstery, which means it doesn't have an upholstery. And upholstery is not a necessary element or a defining feature of a chair, nor are arms nor rockers. And the important point here is the recognition of two kinds of features, like distinctive and non-distinctive feature. So briefly, all features that can be recognized in an entity are part of its description, but the definition of a lexeme within a set or field requires us to note that feature or features distinguish it from other members of the set or field, and what features are not distinctive. So what is meant here, I can explain it like this actually. So the description of a lexeme might include all the features that can be recognized, but if we make the definition of a lexeme, especially within a set or field, it means that we should know its distinctive and non-distinctive feature to indicate how it differs from the other members of the set or the field. So now let's look at the second subtitle, kinship. Kinship means in Turkish like benzerlik, or it might be also associated with analogy. So here let's look at the definition. This system makes an interesting area for componential analysis. It is written here. So I wanted to share componential analysis and the definition of it. Here you can see the definition, the analysis of the meaning of an expression into discrete semantic components. I mean here the discrete means like different semantic components. So it is universal since all humans are related to other humans through blood ties and through marriage. But kinship system differs from society to society. It is written here. So let's look at what is meant here with an example. So Harold is Alice's father and Rose is Jerry's sister. So they have a propositional content that is represented this way. Here in this body of the sentence, the theme or topic of the sentence is Harold or Alice. Do you remember the theme or topic content of a sentence, let's say, if a sentence doesn't have an action verb and if there is no prepositional phrase here, so the subject of the sentence is called theme or topic of the sentence. You might remember it from last week lessons. And here the predicate is father of or sister of, because there is like possession here. And associate is the Alice and Jerry, the associate of the possession. It means, you might remember from last week lesson as I said again. So let's go on. And in English and in European languages, the difference between male and female is marked only by regarding the person indicated. I mean the person who is referred. The gender of the speaker is not important, this means actually. Both males and females call their female sibling sister. Both male and female speakers call their male siblings as brother. The speaker's gender is not important, but this is not same in all languages all over the world, of course. And here is the example. Some kinship systems, like Papua New Guinea language Tok Pisin, have cross siblings, like Tok Pisin began as a Creole, mixed form of English, and has acquired a substantial part of its vocabulary from English. But the way the vocabulary is used often reflects a different cultural outlook, it says. In Tok Pisin, the word borata, as English word brother, means siblings of the same sex as oneself, as the speaker. If a girl, for example, is talking about her sister, in this language, she call her borata, not sister. And sesta, the different form of sister, is a sibling of the opposite sex. So the speaker's gender is important in this language. So if a male speaker, for example, if I am speaking about my male sibling, it is same as English, like borata or brother. If I am talking about my female sibling, I say sesta, as in English, sister. But if the speaker is female, she talks about her male sibling as sesta and female sibling as borata, because the same sex is told with borata and the opposite sex means sesta. So you can see this is different from English. The gender of the speaker is important in this language. Then, same-sex and cross-sex replace male and female as features combining with sibling in this language, different from English and other European languages. And also languages of East Asia have another feature in the kinship systems, like using the terms that distinguish older and younger siblings. For instance, in Mandarin Chinese has like a G for one's own older brother, MD for younger brother, J for older sister, and Mei for younger sister. So these also refers to young and old features of the siblings. And in English, the sex of the person named is distinguished, but not the sex of the intermediate relative. Like grandmother names the mother of one's mother and the mother of the one's father. It doesn't matter if she is your mother's mother or father's mother. We say grandmother, only one word. And grandfather is also the father of your mother or father of your father. So we use the same word for both of the person. And an aunt in English is the sister of your father or sister of your mother. different from also Turkish. We say hala and teyze, but English only aunt word. It works for this purpose. And also the wife of a brother of either parent, it says. And uncle is the brother of either parent or the husband of the sister of either. And nephew and niece are, respectively, the son and daughter of one's brother or sister, and also, respectively, the husband and wife of a sibling's offspring. So let's see the features here on a table. You see uncle, parents' male sibling, parents' siblings' male spouse. So aunt is the parents' female sibling, and parents' siblings' female spouse. You can see all of them. You already know their meaning and their lexical features also. Let's go on. And leaving the sex difference aside for the moment, we can condense the 4 previous definitions this way. Like uncle, aunt, parents, siblings, spouse or their spouse. Nephew and niece like spouses, siblings, offspring or their spouses. The lexeme cousin is the only English kinship term that does not distinguish sex. So though it was borrowed from French, in which the distinction is made like a cousin and cousin, maybe like a cousin is the parent, siblings, offspring. In French they have different gender features, but in English cousin is used both for male and female cousin. It doesn't matter. And relations that exist from birth are consanguineal relations, like relations that are established through marriage are called affinities, sonradan edinilenler. And these are expressed in English with the suffix in-law. Like the in-law means in English, or let's say in Turkish, we use different words, but in English, these in-law are the relatives that you gained through your husband or your wives. So mother-in-law, father-in-law. In Turkish we have kaynana, kayınbaba, but in English it says spouses male or female parent. And daughter-in-law, son-in-law, the offsprings from female or male spouse. Sister-in-law is your wife's or is your husband's sister. And brother is again the brothers of your wife or your husband. And again, English has a limited number of lexemes. Let's compare this with Russian, or also we can compare it with Turkish. Here, for example, svekor, like husband's father. In Turkish, we use it kayınbaba. Or svekro, husband's mother, like kaynana. And test is like wife's father. In Turkish, we use actually kaynana and kayınbaba for both of the groups here. These are the same here for kaynana and kayınbaba. If it is your husband's father or if it's your wife's father, it doesn't matter. We use kayınbaba. And kaynana for your husband's mother or wife's mother, it doesn't matter, we use kaynana. But in Russia, you see, there are 4 different vocabulary for these, let's say, lexemes. And in Russia, dever is the husband's brother, and zoloka is the husband's sister, shurin is wife's brother, and svoyasenika is wife's sister. So you see that in English they have only one word, but in Russia we use different words for each kinship, let's say. So let's look at another example. Here it says to describe kinship in Japanese, another pair of features must be introduced, like self and other. Actually, in Turkish, for example, we don't have these features. So Japanese has 2 lexemes for every relationship. One used in talking about one's own kin, relatives, and the other for somebody else's relatives. Thus, chichi, for example, can be used only for one's own father. But if you are talking the father of another person, the father word turns into otosan. So you see that it is becoming totally a different word when you are talking about another person's relatives for the same word actually. So here are some examples. For example, if you are talking about wife, and if it is your related wife, or if it is your, it is like tsuma or kanai. But if it is related to other people, you see that the wife word turns into another word and it becomes okusan. You see that the husband for the related of the speaker and for the relative of the other people. You see all these relatives are used with two different categories according to self and according to other people. So the other subtitle, hyponymy. Let's look at the definition of hyponymy. Hyponymy is when the meaning of one form is included in the meaning of another. This relationship is described as hyponymy. So for words that are hyponyms of the same subordinate term are called cohyponyms. And let's look at the example it is written. In our course, in the previous chapters, we named hyponym as tür ismi, kapsayıcı isim. I hope you remember it. Let's look at the examples now. So here, plant include three different categories like vegetable, flower, and tree. And in vegetable, there is like cabbage, carrot, and in cabbage, it is like Chinese leaves. And in flower, it can be rose, plum, or it can be also something else, of course. Rose and red rose, it can also go down. And the tree part is pine, and it also has many branches here. It's up to how detailed you want to do it. And here, let's look at body is collie. Body is a dog. So here, the dog is a more general name. The term collie is a hyponym of dog. So we say that collie is the subgroup of dog actually. So tulip is hyponym of flower. So alt isim, you see that hyponym of flower. Flower is the including word and tulip is the hyponym. Dog and flower are the superordinate of collie and tulip. Kapsayıcı isimleri. Yani superordinates means kapsayıcı isimler in Turkish, let's say. There are two cohyponyms of collie like Pomeranian, Dalmatian, etc. And we can say daffodils and rose are two cohyponyms of tulips. Eşdeğer hizada bulunan isimler, cohyponyms. So note, hyponym is not restricted to nouns. The verb to see, for example, has several hyponyms, such as glimpse, stare, gaze, like this. So let's go on with other examples. And this is also a very important detail, I think. A sentence with a hyponym is more informative than a sentence with the corresponding superordinate. This means instead of telling there is a human waiting for you, if we say there is a woman waiting for you, is more informative because it means hyponyms is a more detailed information than the superordinate. Tür isminden daha ziyade alttaki detay bilgiyi verme. Okay, let's go on. Hyponyms as entailment. So it is an apple, entails, it is a fruit. Entails, you remember, we call it gerektirmek, gerektiren çıkarım actually. So it is an apple. This sentence entails that it is a fruit, but not vice versa. It is a square entails that it is a rectangle, but not vice versa, because not every rectangle is a square. It can be another shape also, which has four, let's say, corner. it doesn't mean that the superordinate is always appropriate. So the fact that it was a cow surprised the driver. The fact that it was an animal surprised the driver. So in this case, the fact that it was a cow doesn't entail the fact that the driver was surprised because it was an animal. Additionally, we have problems with negation. It is not a cow doesn't entail it is not an animal. Yani bu bir inek değildir ifadesi bahsettiğimiz şeyin hayvan olmadığı anlamına gelmiyor. Gördüğünüz gibi olumsuzluklar yani negation'lar entailment konusunda tam zıttı çıkarımlar yapmamızı sağlamayabiliyor. Okay, so let's look at the other page. So what is tautology? A tautology is an expression that say the same thing twice in a different way. It is not preferred to use. In Turkish it is usually say gereksiz tekrar. And let's look at the examples. I am very sorry for ruining your rug and I apologize. Like I am very sorry and I apologize. Here is the tautology example. And that is an over exaggeration. Exaggeration is already over. There is no exaggeration which is not over actually. It's like dry dessert. Desserts are always dry. And frozen ice, late evening, new innovation. These already has the meaning of the adjective actually. That's why these adjectives in front of them are unnecessary. And here your friends, the owner of this presentation, say that as we see there is a contradiction. But unfortunately, I correct this mistake. These are not contradiction. These are not examples of contradiction. These are themselves a tautology, example of tautology. A contradiction is something different. So here let's see what is contradiction then. It's a sentence with two predications such that one denies the other. It is like saying Rover is a collie, a type of dog. Rover is a collie, but not a dog. It is impossible. So there is a contradiction. If Rover is a collie, it must be a dog. We cannot say not. So this is contradiction. This is an example of contradiction. So here your friends put an exercise time. So let's see the answer with me. You can stop the video yourself to give yourself some time actually. But now I will directly get into the answer. Identify the superordinate term in each group. So superordinate is the category name which includes the other. So if we say house, shed, building, garage, cottage, hut. So building here is the superordinate which includes all of them as the homonym actually. So let's look at example B. So plate, saucer, cup, soup bowl, dish, serving bowl. So here the word dish, let me, okay, highlighter. So dish is the superordinate term in this group because dish includes all the other type of eating objects. In general it means like service or her türlü tabak, cup anlamında. Okay. So let's look at C. Stream, river, rivulet, creek, brook, tributary. All of them actually a part of a river. So river is the superordinate, the others are homonyms. And in D, glance, peep, stare, leer, look at, we, watch. All of them again are the types of, let's say, look at. So here the verb look at is the superordinate. And the last one, hurricane, tornado, gale, and typhoon, how you read, is the example of storm. So the storm is the superordinate term. The others are hyponyms, let's say. Okay, let's go on. In the following sentences, does the first sentence entail the second, it say? So let's answer them together. all cats have fleas, my cat has fleas. So if all the cats have fleas, so it makes this sentence is also true and required actually. If all cats have fleas, so my cat must also have flea. So this is a correct entailment. Albert killed Ethelbert. Ethelbert is not alive. Yes, this is true. If he or she was killed, so he is not alive anymore. So this is an correct entailment. And Egbert took a sheep. Egbert stole a sheep. So this is not an entailment. So the first sentence does not entail the second in C, because Egbert took a sheep doesn't mean that he stole. Maybe he paid, maybe he purchased, we don't know. So this is not a correct entailment. So Harry did not plant tulips. Harry did not plant flowers. So if Harry did not plant tulips, how do we know? Maybe he planted some roses. So there cannot be a claim that this second entailment is correct. So this doesn't entail the second sentence. So this is also like C actually. Let's look at F. A tall woman came in. A tall person came in. Yes, a woman also a kind of person as an homonym, and this is the superordinate. So this entails the second one. This is correct. I am wearing brown shoes. I am wearing brown footwear. So brown shoes are homonyms of, let's say, footwear, a superordinate footwear. So this is a correct entailment. I run to the beach. I went to the beach. I run to the beach means that somehow I went there. I arrived at the beach. So this is a correct entailment. Only C and D are exclusion as the answer, let's say. Let's look at synonym and antonyms. Synonym and antonyms tell you about the relationship between two words. So let's see the details now. In synonyms, if the words have same meaning as each other, they are synonyms. Synonyms are very similar, like present, gift, rich, wealthy. There might be very slight difference in terms of their usage, let's say, but somehow they mean the same thing in general, eş anlamlı. Synonyms can be nouns, adjectives, adverbs, or verbs. Please find a chair, please find a seat, as you can see, a noun. I choose toys, let's play. I select toys, let's play. So you see, here is verbs. Natalie is fat, Natalie is overweight. Okay, these are the adjective synonyms. But as I said, fat is a bit humiliating, but overweight is a more polite way of saying the same thing. Although they are synonyms, you can see that sometimes in pragmatics there might be slight differences between even the synonyms words. And here, as you can see, there are two sentences. And the first one says, his large eyes are bright and snappy, like large is figured with apple. And his big eyes are bright and snappy, and big is shown with a pear. And the negative form of them are like the bitten apple and bitten pear. The truth of large here entails the truth of big, and vice versa. If something is big, it means it is large. If something is large, it is big. So the truth of one of the synonym words entails the truth of the other. The falsity of, for example, here large entails the falsity of big, and vice versa. If something is not large, so that thing is not big also, and also the opposite. So thus, for this reason, synonym is an instance of mutual entailment. I mean, if one of the synonym words is correct, the other one is also correct. I mean, true. If one of the synonyms is not correct, so also the other synonym word is not correct. And here large is an hyponym of big and big is an hyponym of large. So you can see that that's why if one of them is true, the other one must be true. And if one of them is false, the other one must be false, because they are the mutual hyponym of each other. And if we join two of these sentences with and, we create a tautology, I mean the unnecessary repetition. His large and big eyes are bright and snappy. So you see that large and big are the tautology, I mean unnecessary. Some words have synonym means. What's similar, right? Can you think of another word that has the same meaning or that you could use in place of the word cat? Maybe a word like kitty. You could say this. This is my kitty, Fluffy. This is my cat, Fluffy. You see, these are the synonym of each other. So these are the similar meaning. And the sentence would have the same meaning. How about another word for dog and pouch can be synonym of a dog? Okay. And let's think about quick and fast. Have the same meaning, even speedy. So words can have more than one synonyms like quick, fast, and speedy. And all synonyms actually have the same property. They are placed according to their meaning in the sentence. They differ in connotation. So statesman and politician example. A great statesman always thinks first about the country. A great politician is good at getting votes. These pair have the same cognitive meanings but different affective meanings. They also differ in pragmatic value like hide and conceal. So in terms of like pragmatics, they are similar to like fat and overweight. So although they are synonyms of each other, the usage is usually different from one another. So let's look at antonyms. If the words being the opposite of each other, they are antonyms. So antonyms are opposite in meaning. If one is true, the other must be false. So she likes cooking, she doesn't like cooking. Two sentences that have the same subject and have predicates which are antonyms are also mutually contradictory. So Sherry's mother is very generous, Sherry's mother is very stingy. You see that it is contradictory. If one is true, the other must be false here, because generous and stingy are the antonyms of each other. So lexemes like in and out, boy and girl, before and after are pairs of antonyms. And nouns, verbs, and adjectives can be antonyms also. And measure adjectives such as long, short, tall can be combined with expression of measurement like 5 feet long, 3 meters high. And for example, in the pair of old and young, old is the global, unmarked adjective. It is used with units of time to express age. When we say Jack is 7 days old, we are not saying that Jack is old actually. We just mean that the exact time period he has lived until now. Okay? So thank you so much to your friends and also to all my students who watch this course. Have a good day and see you in the next lessons.